Hello students, it's Nazia Begum here, your physics lecturer, welcoming you all in today's lecture. So we have already discussed about surface tension, and I have also told you that how surface tension plays important role. Okay, the uppermost free layer of a liquid, in that liquid, that is called free surface, and in that surface, because of some molecular attraction, that surface behaves like stretch membrane, and that is called the surface tension. Okay, so now today we will discuss detergents and surface tension. So see, whenever we are washing the clothes by simple plain water, that time the dirt will not go away simply, but if we have to clean the dirty clothes, that time we use detergents. Okay, why we use detergents? Because when detergents get mixed in water, they decrease the surface tension of water. Okay, and when there is decrease in surface tension, so that water will go in the very small pores of the cloth. Are you understanding this? Sometime you might have seen that when you put water on any cloth, so sometime that water doesn't go inside the cloth, it will simply on the top of the cloth only. But if we mix detergent in the water, that time it will simply wet the cloth. Okay, so after mixing the detergent, the surface tension of water becomes very small, and that's why that water will go into small pores of the cloth and remove the dirt and grease from there. Okay, so actually what happened, detergents are hairpin shaped. Okay, and that pins get attached with the molecules of grease and oil, etc. Okay, and they got attached with them, and then when we wash the cloth with water, so with water that detergent will flow, and with the detergent the grease and oil molecules also flow with them. Okay, and one more example of surface tension is there in case of Dettol. So whenever we got injured, okay, we have any kind of burn or injury, so it is advised to clean it with the help of Dettol, Savlon, etc. Okay, so what they actually do, see, they have some antiseptic properties, but with that they have one very important thing, that they decrease the surface tension of water. Okay, so if you have any wound or any injury, and if you clean it with simple plain water, so that time what happen, the upper layer will be cleaned up, but because of surface tension the water will not go inside the small pores or the areas. Okay, in all the areas it will not go properly inside. But when we mix Dettol or Savlon, etc. in water, so that time the surface tension of water decreases, and after that what happens, that water will go to the small pores in your injury or burn, etc. So it will get cleaned properly. Okay, that's why we are using Dettol, Savlon, etc. because it decreases surface tension. Then you might also have noticed that it is advised to reduce the mosquitoes in your area, reduce the number of mosquito in your area. We are advised to put kerosene oil near the pits in our home. Okay, if near our home any pit is there, in that pit water is stored, so in that water what happen, the mosquito lay their eggs on the surface of water. And how the eggs survive on surface of water? Because of surface tension. Okay, because of surface tension only the eggs are on the surface of water, above the surface, and they are getting all their nutrition from that water and oxygen, because they are on the surface, so free surface, so oxygen from air also they are getting. But if we uh, mix some kerosene oil in that pit, so what happen, the water which is stored in the pit, that water surface tension decreases, and when the surface tension decreases, that eggs of mosquitoes, they simply sink inside the water. Okay, they simply drawn there. So in that case, mosquitoes will not come out from the eggs. Okay, so that's why it is advised to mix the kerosene oil, because the surface tension of the water will decrease and all the eggs will go down in the water, and there will be less population of mosquito then. Okay, so this is about surface tension. So here our static portion related to fluid is finished. Now we will start the kinetic portion. Okay, so when we start the kinetic portion of fluid, so that time the fluid will be motion, that means the fluid is flowing. When the fluid is flowing, so it is flowing in three flows. Okay, three types of flows are there: streamline, laminar and turbulent flow. So what is streamline flow? If suppose one liquid is flowing in such a manner that every particle is following its preceding particle. Okay, every particle is following the speed and path of its preceding particle. Preceding means the particle which goes just before that particle. So if every particle is following the particle following the other particle in velocity and path, so that time we will have a very smooth flow of water. Okay, a very smooth flow of water, that is called streamlined flow. So let's see what is its definition here. The flow of a fluid is said to streamlined if every particle passing through a given point follows exactly the same path as that of the preceding particles passed through the same point. Okay, and in this case the magnitude and direction of the velocity of the fluid at the point remains constant with time. That means from a particular point, whatever particle will flow, the particles will have the same velocity and same direction. The path followed by a fluid particle in steady flow is called a streamline flow. Okay, so that streamline flow can be curved, can be a straight line, or can be any shape. But the most important thing here is all the particle will follow the same path. If it is curved path, or the particle will follow the curved path. If it is a straight line path, all the particle will follow the straight line path. Okay, but the main thing is that at each and every point of the flow of fluid, the velocity, the direction and the path will be same for all the particle. So here in front of you, you can see one diagram. So here the fluid is passing from point M to point N by following a path A, B, C. Okay, so here you can see that at each and every point A, B and C, all the particles are having a certain velocity v1. See, at A, whatever particle will flow from point A, they will have the velocity v1. Whatever particle will flow from point B, they all will have velocity v2. And you can see the direction also. For A1, this is the direction. For v1, and for v2 this is the direction. For v3 this is the direction. So these directions will be followed by all the particles which will pass through these points. Okay, so here in case of streamline flow, we are having a flow in which all the particles are flowing through same path following its preceding particle. They all will have the same velocity in magnitude as well as in direction. Okay, and here we have some important properties of streamline flow. The first one is the tangent drawn at any point on a streamline flow indicates the direction of the velocity of fluid flow at that point. So here we have seen that if we draw one tangent, okay, so here see one tangent is there for point A, it is showing us the direction of velocity at that point. Here is one tangent at point C, it is showing the velocity's direction at point C. So whenever we draw the tangent, that tangent is actually showing us the direction of velocity at that particular point. Okay. Then the second property, no two streamlines can cross each other. It is because if they do so, the fluid particle at the point of intersection will have two directions to flow ahead, which is not possible in a streamline flow. So I hope you all have understood this, because this we have already studied in case of magnetic field lines, etc. So when two streamline cross each other, so at the intersecting point we will have two directions of tangent. That means two direction of velocity, which is not possible. Okay. For one point, the direction of velocity is one only. So at the intersecting point, we will have two velocities, two direction of velocities, which is not possible. That's why two streamlines never cross each other. Third, if the streamlines are closely packed, the velocity of flow is large and vice versa. Okay. Then fourth, the velocity of fluid at any point at a streamline remains constant, but it may vary from point to point on the same streamline. So it is basically saying that for a particular point, let's say for point A, the velocity v1 is constant. Okay, whatever particle will pass through A, they all will follow that particular velocity v1. Okay, so for one point the velocity is always constant, but for any other point there may have some different velocity. Are you understanding this? For point A, the velocity is v1, so for point B, velocity may be v2. Okay, so there is difference in velocities at different points, but for one particular point its value is same. That is, for A, velocity is v1, for B, velocity is v2, for C, velocity is v3. So for different point, different velocities are there, but for point B, always the velocity will be v2 only. And similarly for point C, the velocity will always be v3 only. Are you getting this? For different points, velocity will be different. For one particular point, the velocity will always be same. Okay, so these are some properties of streamline flow. Then we have turbulent flow. When the velocity of the flow exceeds the critical velocity. Now what is critical velocity? See, critical velocity is that limit of velocity, that maximum amount of velocity till which our flow is streamlined. Okay, see, when the particles are flowing, they are having a certain velocity. If they are having their velocity less than critical velocity, that time the flow will be streamlined. If they cross the critical velocity, that time the flow becomes turbulent flow. Okay, critical velocity is different for different fluids, but it is constant for one fluid. Okay, so suppose our particles are moving with very high velocity, that their velocity crosses the critical velocity. So that time what happen? Their flow becomes unsteady or disorderly. That means any particles will move in random manner following any point. There is no role of following the preceding particle or something. Okay, each and every particle will flow with their own direction, own different velocity, etc. So that type of flow is called turbulent flow. Okay, turbulent flow means irregular flow only. Okay, so whenever we see that if we throw the water or any other liquid with very high velocity, so they flow in very random manner, that is called turbulent flow. Okay, so students, this is it for today's lecture. In next lecture we will see laminar flow and some other properties of fluids when they are in motion. So for today this is it. See you in next lecture. Till then, goodbye, take care, do some productive work, and the most important thing, be healthy, be safe.